look at that soft voice.
How are you?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've changed.
What dulcet tones I've changed.
I left a boy. I came back a man.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny. I really do feel that you feel like you've changed.
I don't know about that, but hey.
I
How are
like
you?
to think. I'm good. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
You had a dog, huh?
And yeah, man, I have a dog. I mean, it's so funny that like when we recorded that episode, I was like, I might get a dog. Like it's a thing where I might be getting a dog. I'm not sure 100% with the process, but like as soon as you see pretty much any dog, I feel like you're like, okay, I'll take that dog.
Yeah.
And that's how it went down.
Are you doing this in the living room?
Yeah.
Granny-
Lisa's using the office.
Okay. Okay. I was wondering if she's okay with this.
Yeah. She just went down for a nap, which
Who, Lisa?
puppies do.
Oh.
Yeah. There's been a lot of those jokes, which are fun.
What?
Like stuff like, you know what I mean? Like
she just took a shit on the floor. Who, Lisa?
Yeah. Or like, yeah, it's mostly potty stuff. It's mostly
Yeah.
like she won't stop licking herself. Lisa, you know.
Casey?
Who, Joe?
Dr. Kelly's daughter?
Yeah, her name is Granny, and she's a lab beagle mix. We've already messed around with her name a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like Grantron.
Grandma
It's like
cum.
Yep.
I think we talked about this, right?
The cum grandma.
Yeah. I believe we talked about it.
Yeah. I also talked about it on the Jokers podcast, which is fun. I think it's going to get cut out though, because it really just the only connection is that it's John Zaluga, comedy producer's sister.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so what's it like? What is this, week 2?
this
Being a dog
is
dad?
yeah. This is week. It'll be week 2 on Friday. It'll be 2 full weeks, and she's already gotten bigger. She's already gotten more comfortable, and she's got these wild spurts sometimes, dude.
Those paws are big. I'm anticipating a big girl.
It's funny. Everyone says that.
That's what the paws are about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the size of the paws indicates the size of the dog a lot of times.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, she's like a lab beagle mix, which is often between like 40 and 55 pounds. So
what are you gonna do if she's like huge and she's just like running around your apartment?
I don't know. Move to the burbs.
Whoa.
It is such a funny thing that like you think about changing your whole life for like just some weird animal.
I know. I mean, like we have a cat now, so from now on we have to move into apartments that are okay with cats.
Yeah.
So has she destroyed anything? Because Miles, you kind of just have to get zen-like about like losing things.
Well,
this cat, for instance.
Pretty much like everything we have in our apartment, like we have thought already, like, okay, we're gonna have to get a new one in a couple of years because of this dog. So we're okay to see it go. We were even talking about like refurnishing certain things before we even considered having a dog. Not like it wasn't like a rush for it, but being in quarantine, you see the same, you see your same house over and over again. Sometimes you're like, I want to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
So that's not an issue. I've been thinking about Miles a lot because I was thinking that, one thing about Granny is she's very cat-like. There are moments where I'm like, she's a straight up cat. She just does little things. She's like kind of like cat-like. She's got like
she rolls around and stuff.
She almost has like yellow cat eyes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's weird.
I would love to get them together, especially while she's young.
What's that? What would that be like?
I think that she would just like probably check out my apartment, because I would imagine she would have to come here and Miles would just follow her around and like keep his distance.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting. She would go right for Miles. She like, I've been doing this thing where we have like a puppet that's like a dog puppet that a friend gave us a long time ago, and I put my hand in it and I just go rough, and she's like, oh my God, it's alive. She really like looks at it like,
you say rough.
I swear to God, I was like, what do I say here? Rough. And she responded. I was like, all right, I guess it works.
So what kind of tricks are you looking forward to training her?
She knows a lot. Like she picks things up quick. Like, she's got her sit, stay, lay down, come, go home, which is like go to her crate.
That's a big one.
Yeah, come. Come. It's just another separate one. Leave it. She's gotten really good at leave it, where you put food. Like I've been putting like a bunch of little food around her and saying leave it, and she doesn't eat it. She just sits there like I cannot wait to eat.
Isn't that crazy? How's it possible, for a dog to like pick up stuff like that so quickly?
Dude, I am. You know how like I get when I want to buy a piece of technology.
Sure.
I watch countless YouTube videos every single day. Just even if it's like sometimes it's like, oh, I want to teach her this. Let me look that up. But sometimes I just like now it's just in my whole algorithm, and I just watch a ton of videos of like how to do it. And there's like a couple different schools of thought, but they're pretty much all the same thing, which is just like you reward the fuck out of the dog.
Right.
And then it's just like, oh, this means treats, and it just wants to be good. It wants to have that good behavior and like get a reward, even if you don't give the reward.
I wish there was. I don't know what to do with cats. They're all different, and it's tricky. Like he ruined the arm on the couch while I was gone. He like made it worse than ever, and like I hate it. I'm so upset. What are you gonna do?
You are.
I mean, not that upset, but it's just sort of like, oh, there goes that thing.
There are definitely times where I've found that I've become like upset, like with things that she's done, like with like biting, because she's just a puppy and she's nipping, but sometimes it really hurts. And like she's gotten so good and she knows how to lick now. So I'm like, just lick. I'll do, you know what I mean? Like I'll play with you if you just lick me.
Yeah. 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 That's what it comes down to. I lost you there. I just have to like play with him whenever he's being bratty, and it tires him out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it comes down to. Like I'm like, I guess we'll play now. I have to go run around my bedroom with a string until he gets tired.
Tomorrow, she gets her last shot for like parvo. What you know about parvo?
No. Is that a Chris Parvo?
It's apparently a horrible disease that like has a huge mortality rate for dogs, and I've never heard of it in my entire life.
Me neither.
So basically, if a dog like steps in other dog shit that has parvo and licks his foot, which he or she would, he would just die. Like the dog could just die if it doesn't have the vaccines. And
it's a virus.
Yeah, it's a virus, and apparently it's huge and it's everywhere. But in our neighborhood, there's a lot of people who don't clean up after their shit. That's the other thing. I'm like, fuck this neighborhood. I'm like, I can't fucking. I used to not like it when I would have to like step around it constantly. But now that I have an animal that can die from it, the other day I saw a woman. I was going to the pet store and I saw a woman coming up a block, and she had her dog shit, and she kind of had like a look on, like, please don't watch me. And I just watched, and then the dog finished, and she just started walking with the dog. And I was just like, wow. I screamed wow at her. Wow.
Did she have a bag? Did she not have a bag?
I mean, you bring a bag. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
You'll say, I mean, listen, I hope that you never once make a mistake. If she did it by accident, my heart goes out to her. If she does it all the time, she's a piece of shit.
Look, if that happened where I didn't have a bag and I saw somebody, I'd be like, I know, but I'm going to pick it up. I'm just going to run, get a bag. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I'm so sorry. Like I thought I had the bag on me. I will be right back to get this. I'm not this person. Yeah. I over-explain shit. So this is a funny thing that happened recently. There's a bottle on a roof that's next, like that we could see a roof from our apartment. And there's a bottle that's been there since we moved in. And Lisa and I refer to this as bottle, as if it's a human being that like lives on that roof. And we're like, bottle's doing good. You know what I mean? Like bottle's getting some sun, doing some sunbathing. We talk about bottle constantly. And then there was a handyman or like a super that was on the roof. And we were like, oh my God, like I hope it doesn't get bottle. And an instinct in me was to go, excuse me, hi, could you actually leave the bottle? I know it sounds strange, but I would really appreciate it if you could leave it there, because my wife and I refer to it as bottle, and it's a fun inside joke for us. Like how to explain that to somebody would sound so crazy. And he left the bottle. I would
do it. If someone explained it to me, I would do it. I would be like, yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Same thing. I'd be like, it's been there for 3 years. We want to keep it there. We lost Pinky, which was so when they were finishing our building, we were living in the building as they were finishing it, and there was insulation that was like on our like that little private deck for like the building, that shared private deck, and one of the insulation like flew up from the wind and landed on another roof, like an adjacent,
It
like but
stayed
like
there.
lower garage roof. And it stayed there for like 2.5 years. And
Wow.
then some guy went up to clean and saw it and got rid of it. So we lost Pinky. We can't lose Bottle.
I can't quite see the rooftops from my level here. I wonder what I'm missing out on. What kind of friends I could be making.
It
Kind of
is.
inside jokes I could be having.
You know what's nice about we're like on we're not on like a top floor, but we're on a floor that is higher than some buildings, but not as high as other buildings. And it's a real nice rear window, Hitchcock
Sure, yeah.
situation, because you get to see, inside some windows, on top of some buildings. You could still see the street. We're
We
like
have a good
mid-level.
we have a good view of backyards from our bedroom, and I
Mm,
missed this while I was away, but Allie sent me video that some people just had like a performance back there, some kind of band or something.
I
So
want
she was
that.
just chilling, having a beer, watching a band play in the backyard from the
I
from the
want
fire
that.
escape. I know. I was so sad I missed it.
I want to see that. I want to do that.
Yeah,
I was like, I want to play on the like the Van Duzer roof or
I know.
in
I
that
know.
back alley.
I haven't played with other people, and this is the longest I've ever gone in my life,
Yeah,
not playing with someone.
me
It's
too.
crazy. And then
I know.
improv
And
too, right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, improv, stand up, playing music, either, I've probably gone this long with like live music somewhat. I don't know.
Stand up
Um,
is happening again. I see that, like in backyards and rooftops.
yeah, but, and I would do that, but yeah, it's weird. The other thing that is this, like, I've gotten a new level of sadness with the quarantine because of the dog. I just feel like double quarantined, like because again, the dog doesn't have a shot, so I can't even take her out on walks, which will be a game changer once she gets the shot.
Yeah, yeah.
But some people think you should keep the dog in for like 6 months, but she's on 3 months now, so I can't do another 3 months of exercising her in the apartment.
Who says that? Just get her out there.
Matt
It's an
Cook.
animal. She'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. That's what I think too. If she dies, she dies.
Yeah, exactly. Is that
Do you know what
Rocky,
that's from?
Rocky 4, I think,
I
right?
can't believe you've
Yeah.
never seen Rocky.
Well, we had a whole podcast about it, so I know the line.
You were like,
I'm
yeah, Rocky.
I'm quarantined. I have to stay in for like 2 weeks because I came through. I had to fly back. Did you know this?
Yeah, I know.
So I had to fly back, and because Paul got a ride back in Oscar Isaac's private propeller plane,
Mhm.
which the production paid for. It was an Oscar's plane. And I really do feel like I could have gotten on it, but I didn't want to, like, I don't know. I felt like it would be pushy or something.
Yeah, I
didn't
know.
really become what?
I know what you mean. Like that feeling. It's funny. Like I end up not wanting to be that pushy person, but then I kind of just do it because I'm like, I have to
I know.
take my shot.
Well, it was Oscar's call. Like, he was the only one I could ask, and I didn't really get to know him until after the final shoot. We were all drinking and hanging out.
Mm.
Then we were having a good time, me and Oscar. And I feel like if that had happened at any other point, I would have felt comfortable asking about it. You know?
Yeah. All right. So our listeners really don't know any of the saga that you went on. And I know that there's probably a lot you can't talk about in terms of like the shooting of the movie, but there's probably some fun stories. I mean, just the fact that you were in a horrible hotel, right?
Yeah.
Last time we checked in.
We put up these videos, right? Yeah. So it was in that horrible hotel. It was a nightmare,
with
that
bad
place.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Terrible.
And that was the
Wi-Fi.
worst part. Yeah.
I think that's why we left. Yeah. So luckily, I mean, a lot of the crew still had to stay there, and it was one of those like, I think that the local people they hired just like don't do this often or don't know what they're doing. Like this wasn't the only option, the Quality Inn, but for some reason it's what they chose to put the crew in. Like I think it's Nicole on our show is like in charge of like booking hotels.
Yeah.
And well, she was, at least. Now she's a line producer. She moved up, but she would always make sure that we were taken care of in a great place, and like knew the deal, you know, no matter where it was in the country. She knew the deal about like what kind of place we should stay in.
Yeah,
These
she knows
people
that she knows the value of that. She knows that it's important to like
huge.
put people in like a comfortable, like clean place because they'll be happier to work.
And this place was horrible. I mean, like you couldn't, like, it's they oversprayed it with like some kind of perfume. I think what a lot of people do is like they smoke cigarettes with their door open on the balcony outside, you know, because it's one of those like outdoor facing motel type vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And all that smoke just kind of comes in. There was actually like people dealing drugs and like
Cool.
probably prostitution. It was very seedy, you know?
Yeah.
And so me and Paul ended up, one of the producers was like, you can't do this. And we ended up going to like a condo basically. which was much closer to like where the production office was. It was just a better place to be. And me and Paul were roommates, so we,
Which is so funny. So how old is he?
so he's 73. He's gonna be 74 this month.
74-year-old man and a 34-year-old man, 40 years apart.
Yeah. Am I 34? I'll be 34.
Okay.
33. I don't know. I forget.
I know, but you're 34 this year, and
Yeah.
it just made my math so much easier.
It's true. I'm just trying to think about it. But yeah, so we were rooming, so I bought us supplies, and like he didn't want much. He just wanted like yogurt, and he kept wanting sushi from like Winn-Dixie, which is like a grocery
Really,
store.
Mississippi sushi? No offense, no offense, Mississippi.
Seafood is good there,
Right, but isn't it just like catfish and stuff?
I don't know.
Like, is it? Are you doing like
Shrimps,
catfish rolls?
shrimps and crawfish?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that stuff would be really
But
good.
we didn't get that. I got the imitation crab meat. He loved it. He just had he just. I think I said this to you before. He just wants to to consume calories. Like that's it. Meaning that like he doesn't care what the food is. He just wants to like get on with his work. So it's like, oh, I guess I'm hungry to like put calories in my body.
That's like the equivalent to like the Mark Zuckerberg hoodie, who's like, I just wear the same thing every day. So he's just like, I don't want to think about food.
But we did find this place. When we go out to eat, he wants to be done. He wants me to ask for the bill as soon as the food
comes. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And we were going. He was like craving oysters, and we were on the way from one set to another set. It was a whole nother setup, so we had a little bit of time, but not much. And he was like, "We got to get in there. I got to get a bunch of oysters. Like, we got to do this fast." And like, I just pulled over and like we went into this place, and he ordered a dozen oysters for himself and the gumbo. And I didn't want to get anything that would take long, so I asked for half a dozen oysters for myself and like a crawfish bisque. It's like kind of similar to what he was getting. And the girl was so flustered. The waitress, she was so flustered, and she kept running back and forth and like didn't know, because he was just like, let's go, not in a mean way, just in a like matter of fact way.
My father-in-law is like that. My father-in-law is like, it seems like he's rushing, even though that's just his demeanor.
Yeah.
But I could see how some people would get flustered. I even do sometimes, where he's just like, if he's waiting a little too long, he's a little bit like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it was funny. He was craving McDonald's one night. We went through the drive-through and they were taking forever. And he's like,
he sounds like he sounds like a pregnant woman. He's like, he had a craving for pickles, and I had to run out and get him pickles and ice cream.
Well, because there wasn't much to eat that late at night,
You're going to be a good husband when Allie's pregnant.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm used to it now. But so then she came back she gave us both, instead of him getting a dozen oysters and me getting half a dozen, she gave us both each 14 oysters. And I had no time to like go send them back or whatever. So I had to, I'm a fast eater, right? Like that's one of my things. And like thank God I am, because otherwise I would never have been able to finish a meal anytime we ate together,
Right.
We're just scarfing down oysters. I ate so many oysters. I ate 14 oysters in a sitting.
Because that's a thing that you really want to sit and enjoy.
Yeah, I know, man. It was good, but it was crazy.
And he
got up and ran to set.
So, okay. That's so funny. Were you late to set, or was okay?
We were early.
I guess he has to be. He's a director, but I mean, these stories, it's so funny that
I have so many, and there's some I can't tell. There's some I can tell. It's like,
okay, so just tell one that you can't tell.
Can't?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like my favorite. It all really felt like it culminated in. First of all, he is full of stories, and like you can ask him anything, and he'll answer honestly. It was also cool to ask him just about the movie business and like how it works. Like, for instance, in this movie, and apparently this happens in a lot of movies, it's called pay to play. Yeah. Where in order to get investors, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
In order to get investors, or in order to raise money for the movie, one of the things they do is get investors to pay like $250,000 for like to be in the movie. So you've heard of this before? Have you
I have. Yeah.
it? Have you experienced it?
No, never experienced. So I just know the term.
They're not like great actors, and like they're probably there's no guarantee that they're going to be in the movie,
Yeah.
But it was like essential to like get the movie made. So that was something interesting to find out about, just like the process of getting investors and trying to sell it and things like that. It was just cool to talk to him about that stuff. And
I've heard of that.
The
Yeah.
future of cinema going.
Did you get in the movie at all?
He put me in a couple times, but you're not going to see me most likely because I'm in a scene where Oscar's playing cards and I'm right behind him, but they cut
Yeah.
off the top of my head. I think because my eyebrows too hard to CGI out, and
Oh my
so they
God, that's so funny.
they cut. So you just see me playing, and I'm also in a prison scene. I had to put on a prison outfit and go like in an actual prison cell, which I'll tell you all about. That was crazy, and
Jail cell, prison cell.
jail cell.
Okay.
But and I'm not really going to be in that either because my hair was so long and they couldn't cut it because of COVID regulations, and it was a military style prison, so
Yeah.
I can't have like long hair, so they couldn't really show me. So I'm kind of in the
Wow.
movie. Did I tell you that he asked me to take some video for him, some footage?
Yes. Yes.
So so he needed B-roll, and I think what it was some of these casinos were saying it's B-roll of casinos. This movie's called The Card Counter. It takes place in a lot of like these like it's supposed to be like Poconos casinos, like East Coast casinos. So that was important too. So we're in the deep South, and they don't really look like East Coast casinos. So it had to have the right kind of kitschy vibe, kind of like in Old Vegas where like it's like a horseshoe casino or whatever,
Gotcha.
And so there's this one, I won't say the name of it, but like there was this one or two casinos that like were assholes apparently, wouldn't let us like shoot the exteriors of them. So that's why he couldn't get his crew to do it. So he basically like had me do it as a student film and then buy the footage.
Scambone.
Yeah. So I went there and he was giving me tips on like how to frame it, and like I had to go at magic hour because he wanted magic hour, like, which I didn't know there's a difference between golden hour and magic hour. I thought magic hour was golden hour.
Is magic hour a part of golden hour?
Yeah, it's within it, but it's after it.
Yeah.
It's like the 15 minutes after the sun has set. When the
Yes. I would have guessed that. I actually thought they were the same thing too. Golden hour is like as the sun is setting, right? It's like
when everything's golden. You know it when you see it.
And so what's the deal with that Tom Cruise movie that was filmed entirely at magic hour?
Is that true?
At least I think either an entire movie or an entire scene. I think movie though was filmed only between like the hour of the sun setting.
Well, there is that crazy scene where he does like a halo jump out of an airplane, and it's like a one take when he actually does it. Yeah, and it looks like it could have taken place during magic hour, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty crazy idea.
Well, it was tricky because I had to do it, and not only that, but like not get caught by security.
Yeah.
So I actually had to take this shot 3 separate nights because I didn't get it right the first couple nights. The first night, the person I asked to come help me because he wanted a car to drive in the shot because you need motion. She came a little late, so we went. It was still dark out, and the lighting wasn't right. And I forget the next. I think the day before that I did it during the day, and it wasn't quite right either. So he said do it during magic hour, and I caught it. I took like another guy with me, and he drove, and like I got it, and I nailed the shot that he asked for. But then I saw this cat that was walking around the lot, and I knew where it was kind of headed, so I ran and repositioned, reframed it, and just in time, I got this beautiful shot of this cat just walking across the screen, and he loved it. He was like, "That's a nice touch." He's
wow.
I hope he uses. I don't know because it's also not the same kind of camera they were using for the actual film.
Yeah,
it was like a handheld 4K.
Yeah, that's okay.
For it, but we'll see.
Because they could stylize it so that it looks even,
right. Anyway, I'll be very proud if my cat shot gets in the movie.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Will you be bummed if they use the other shot? Will you be bummed? Will you give him a hard time?
No, I'll be happy if he uses any of them. I'd be honored.
Do you have Paul's number? You could text him, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be funny if you text him soon, like an emoji or something.
I know. I can't tell. I think we're like buddies because I was always making him laugh, and I was very candid with him about the types of questions I would ask. I asked him the rat question.
Yes.
One where, yeah.
If you kill how much money to kill a rat?
What's the lowest amount of money you would accept to kill a rat with your mouth? And he said, "I made all my money. I don't need to do that. So it would be something like 100 million." He's like, I wouldn't do it."
Yeah, I think my answer was $1 million, right?
I think so. Yeah. Oscar.
Yeah, Mike Gags was like $20.
Oscar Isaac said $5.
Really?
I think he was being facetious.
Huh. He was trying to be cool. Was he nice?
I think so. Yeah, he
Was
was
he
very nice.
was he really hot?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because he's like a heartthrob, and
It's just like, you know, like
yeah,
actors have such good skin and hair and like they're just well taken care of that like there's always a glow with an actor, you know?
yeah, yeah.
But me and him really like got on the last night when we were all drinking. And what it was just two houses next door at the producer's house. We like a few of us got together and drank. So it was like a small crowd, you know? And Paul was just he was just holding court, just telling crazy stories. And every time he would tell a story, me and Oscar would just look at each other
That's
like,
cool.
like we had a lot of those moments, you know?
That's
Um,
fun. That's fun. That's a nice. So all right. So going back to like when you called me and you were like, "Should I do this thing?" Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Until now, like, did you have any? Like, we knew that it could be cool, but is it even cooler than you thought it could be?
I guess it's either cooler or as cool, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't it was what I was hoping for, and it was actually better because he wasn't as like scary as I had him built up in my head to be. He was actually kind
Mm-hmm.
of a sweet man, and in his
And
way at least.
so when you had cocktails, right? Like, because they were just he's a drinker, right?
Yeah.
So would you guys have like a drink every night together?
No.
Okay.
No, because I only drank twice during the trip on the 4th of July and this last night because I was just trying to
Okay.
keep it separated, you know?
Yeah. Got to keep it separated. The
Yeah.
offspring. They
Yeah,
said that.
exactly.
The
He's a
Paul.
big fan, so.
Yeah. So that makes sense that he would say that.
But
And
he has this look. We were talking about this because every day on set we would have to get our temperature taken, and then once your temperature's taken, you get a wristband, right? And it's a different color every day. So he had two of them on from like 2 different days on this last night we were drinking, and like his outfit choices are interesting because he didn't bring any clothes, so he just bought some stuff at Walmart. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you see directors a lot and like they're always dressed down.
yeah.
Like I think it's because it's like they just don't give a shit. It's like the hoodie thing with Zuckerberg. Like he's all laser focused on the film, and he was like, "Ah, this shirt's too hot. Can you go pick me up like a mesh shirt, like I'm like a not a mesh shirt, but you know what I mean, like one of those like
Yeah,
breathing."
like a wicking. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got one of those. So like by the end of it all, he's got this Rolex presidential watch from the 80s. It's like solid gold. Then these two wristbands, Crocs, and a Walmart outfit. And it's like this. It somehow works. It's so
You,
gross, but it somehow works. The profane and the sacred. You know what I mean? Like,
wow. So you sent a photo of the two of you underneath
yeah.
some like lights.
That's part of the set. Yeah.
Okay, and I want to know more about that photo. I want to do a deep dive on that photo.
He was.
What? How did that happen? So basically, yeah, the
I knew I
photo is
wanted.
like, yeah. I mean, let me describe it. The photo is like a halo, not a halo, like imagine like a tunnel of like little small lights, like Christmas lights almost, but like white. And it's just the two of you there, not smiling, just standing next to each other. The feeling is you're holding hands, but you're not. But you're that close.
I think I'm smiling. He's not, which is what makes it very funny.
Yeah, yeah. But no, you've got like a smirk, but not a smile.
Well, I knew that I wanted a picture with him at some point, and that was the most picturesque place. It just looked cool, and like we were kind of alone. The stand-ins for Oscar and Tiffany were like at the end of the tunnel, and she took it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a private moment. Like not a private moment, but he was alone for a second, kind of like he does the thing where they frame it out with their fingers, and he was like kind of doing that whole thing with how he wanted the camera to go. And then there was a little downtime. I was like, "Hey, Paul, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask for a picture. This is such a great look." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." So I asked the stand-in to take the picture, and like there's like 4 pictures that she took. The first 3, he's not smiling at all, but it's not like he's upset. He's just kind of like, I think it's like his cool look, I think, is what he's thinking.
Right.
You gonna show it?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another one where he is smiling, but I didn't share that one because it's not as funny as this to me.
Okay. I hope this is working. So if you are watching on our YouTube channel, you could see this photo. I was right. It looks like you guys are holding hands. You guys are really close for a photo that has so much room on like all other sides.
Well, I think I had his arm around his back or something like that, you know?
Yeah, it's really sweet.
I'm wearing my mask on my neck, and I'm holding the director's monitor. That was like my primary job on set, was just to make sure he had his monitor at all times.
I see the Crocs.
Yeah.
I see the shorts. Yeah. When I saw his outfit, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like he I didn't know what he looked. I never looked up what he looks like, but
No.
he looks like a bulldog,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
or like a pit bull meets a bulldog, like a mix.
So
Everything's dogs for me now.
you don't really know anything about him or like how he got into film or anything?
No, nothing about. I know nothing about him.
He was brought up by very strict Calvinist parents, like super strict religious parents, and he wasn't allowed to see a movie until he was 18. And the first movie
Wow.
he ever saw was The Nutty Professor, and he didn't like it.
Wow.
And I think he saw a movie called Pickpocket, which blew his mind, and he wanted to get into film. And he became a film critic, and then decided to get into film. You know?
Who isn't, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he had like a real. So that's why his movies have a way different. They're much more intellectual than a lot of like a Spielberg movie, who fell in love with films when he was a kid. So
Yeah.
there's always whimsy attached. Paul didn't fall into it until he was like analyzing things, and was a very serious person, going to like a Catholic school his whole life. Not Catholic, but Calvinist.
Yeah, Calvin. Yeah.
Strictly analytical, kind of like Jesuit, like analytical, scholarly like approach to religion. Calvin's whole idea was that you could think your way into heaven. That was his approach. He was like, you could logic your way in. So it's just like a really unique perspective for a filmmaker to have. And like, he's a true artist, like he doesn't care about like a big budget movie. He would be the first to say he couldn't do something with a big budget movie. Like, and like, I realized like, I was trying to like think about like, if I ever was involved in a movie and creating one, how different it would be in terms of like every shot took forever to set up because they were all very artfully curated shots and the lighting was very specific. Whereas if I'm doing a comedy, you wouldn't take that long to set up a shot.
Yeah.
You just want to get the action and the energy. So it's like a way different approach. We would only shoot like, 7/8 of a page, and it would be a 3 or 4 hour scene, like setup.
Right.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I've been on some shoots that are like that, and it's always even small things like even comedic projects, like that thing I did the
Surrealist.
The Surrealist. Yeah, like that director is really great, and his name's Trevor Williams, and he takes a long time with setups, and a lot of it is like he tells his DP what he wants, and the DP like accomplishes it, and then they look at in frame, and he's not even he doesn't even take the longest in terms of other people I've worked with. There are some people who take a really long time to make sure it's right, little background elements. But I think for some people it really makes a difference, and it really speaks to like this other thing that filmmaking is. There's aesthetics, but yeah, I agree. I'm more run and gun. I'm like it's funny is when I was filming like a lot of those music videos for like Instagram, those things I was doing, I would sometimes I would get the angle that I liked, and then look at all the things that are like if you look at my table here, like there's so much shit on this table, and I'm like, that's so distracting in the shot, like soap and stuff. So I would just take everything and put it right out of frame, like pull it right out of frame, and you'd be like, oh, this looks in the shot, it looks incredible, it looks beautiful. And it makes such a big difference when you take that time to do that rather than just like leave all that shit there, Yeah,
and like it changed the way I looked at it when I was filming just the exterior of the casino. Like it was like, well, those street lights are ugly there, so how can I position this so that they work? And like,
yes,
and I by the third shot with the cat, I really do think I nailed the composition of the shot, and nice. I hope it makes it in. I don't know, but it's also such a fleeting moment. It's probably gonna be 3 seconds, if that, But it does matter. It's gotta look good.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like every brick matters in a building, Joey.
Yeah.
You need every brick. You can't skip on bricks.
Oh, and so the jail we were in, it was a real county jail
made of bricks,
and there were real
wow,
and there were real prisoners there. Like they had different outfits for their different crimes. So there's violent offenders, felonies, and misdemeanors.
Wow.
I think there's only one reason they ended up in jail. They probably didn't have the right
assault with a brick. Oh,
I'm just saying that they probably didn't have the right representation in court.
Right. They probably need like some sort of lawyer. And if they're in Mississippi, that's where the jail was.
Yeah,
they're just a frog's throw.
Yeah,
we both had a different kind of throw.
Right.
To Griffin, Georgia, with Jody Sellers of the Sellers Law Firm. Jody Sellers, what's that number, Joe?
It's 341-347-541. 414.
Wow,
No.
that's like it's so funny that I'm disappointed in you and I don't know the number.
770-415-9848. That's 770-415-9848, right?
Very good. Yeah,
I think I have to not think about it.
770-415-9848.
I have to not think about it. If I think about it, I can't remember it. But if I just like allow my brain to do the work.
And I just want to give a shout out to Lauren Newman, who follows the Sellers Law Firm, and she also recently had a birthday. Taylor Allen follows the Sellers Law Firm. Shout out to Taylor Allen, Calling the Shots podcast. The Hazy Boy, that's Alex.
If you want to get a shout out on this podcast, all you have to do is follow the Jody Sellers Law Firm and let us know about it, and we'll shout you out. Mike
Kelton.
Hell yeah.
So please, yeah, if you follow, and then I'll give you a shout out. SI Bad Boy.
Who's that?
That's you. And Tina Sao.
Who's that?
She's been on the podcast. That's me. That's mine.
Yeah, I wish I had been able to drive back, because I would have been able to stop by. If I had driven back alone, I would have been able to stop by Griffin and said hi to Jodesters.
Griff George. What's it like there? What's been going on in Griff George?
I don't know. I mean, I'm curious, because they've been opened up, and honestly, like, well, so I'm quarantined, especially because I flew.
Mm-hmm. What was that like? What was the plane situation like?
First flight was packed, and people were kind of loosey.
What do you mean first flight?
I had to do a connecting flight in Charlotte.
Sucks.
Yeah,
that
upgraded to first class in Charlotte.
2 planes, dude.
Yeah, I know. 2 planes.
What happened to his car?
I left it in New Orleans.
But how's he gonna get it?
It was a rental.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought it was. Remember, I thought you said it was his car.
Yeah. I was hoping it would be. It was just a rental though.
Oh, okay. What kind of car was it?
It was a Hyundai Santa Fe. It was great.
I mean, how great could it be?
I don't know. It had cool like features. It was easy to drive. The cruise control was adaptive. It was nice for the road.
It did? It had adaptive cruise control?
Yeah.
Isn't that the absolute best?
Yeah, it was nice.
Is there anything better? It's It's the best version of a self-driving car.
It's pretty good, yeah, because you have it all.
Did you use it constantly?
Sure.
Did you figure it out right away?
I didn't realize it was adaptive until it slowed down for me when I was going towards the car. Meaning, like, yes, I figured it out, but like, it was cool. It slows down when there's a car in front of you. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's the best part. It keeps you at a distance in a cool way.
It was hard for me to trust it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm at a point now because my car has it where I'm just like, boop, put it on. For me. Always. I mean, yeah, I guess the stakes are high. You're like, I can't kill this director first time out, unless he gets parvo or something.
Yeah. But,
which he does look like a dog, so
a little bit, yeah.
Careful.
All
right, so you flew twice and you had first class both?
No, there was only available for the second time. It was only $60 to upgrade.
Yeah, but it was like a 45-minute flight probably, right?
It was like an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to be 2 hours. It was a shorter flight.
But first class, not bad.
Yeah. Well, they don't give you any food or drinks or anything because of the virus. So it's not real first class, but it was pretty good. It wasn't worth it. It wouldn't be worth more than $60.
$60, yeah.
Yeah.
But you weren't paying for the flight to begin with, and then you just paid $60.
And I would have, and it would have cost $30 to check my bag, which they were also covering.
Okay.
So it's really only like $30 extra I'm paying because they're going to pay me back that $30.
Was a flight packed?
Not the second flight. The first flight was. And that's why people were like, they're doing that stupid thing where their noses aren't covered by the mask. A lot of that going on.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to catch anything. We were all like only really surrounding each other on set. So my worst exposure event was the flight itself, but I was masked for basically 5 hours straight, which is very uncomfortable.
Can I say something funny about our shots right now?
Yeah.
So what it looks like is because your guitar is next to you there, behind you in your shot, and mine is here. It almost looks like I'm around the corner from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're actually in the same place, but trying to pull it off. Like if I moved, you would see you podcasting.
I mean, if we ever did have to podcast in person, we might have to do it that way with this quarantine situation.
I know. I'm really missing people. Like I said, like with the dog, I feel like extra handcuffed here because I can't go. I mean, yeah.
I leave it at the ball is in your court because I don't really care. So in 2 weeks when I feel cleared,
Yeah.
I'm down to come over. You know what I mean? Or I'm down to have you over. It's really up to, how comfortable you feel.
Yeah, I don't know. The jury's still out. So I don't know what the deal is with this virus and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Well, I'm just telling
so
you from my point of view, whatever.
the
But
jury's not out. The
yeah.
jury's made its verdict, and the verdict is
I'm
I don't
convinced.
care.
I'm convinced I had it. Anyway, maybe next week after it's been a few days, Allie can give me a test on the podcast. That'd be fun because I have a take.
Oh yeah,
test.
did you get your results back?
I've taken it. I've gotten tested 3 times and I've been negative each time.
Yeah. Oh,
over
okay.
the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, because you had to take it a bunch for this whole thing, right?
Yeah. And so I'm gonna have to take it again. I don't have to, but I'm gonna take the pinprick test.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I'm saying we could do that on the podcast next week.
And they like put a pin in your prick?
Allie will prick me with her prick.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
I'll bleed for you.
What else is going on? How was it like fun returning back to Allie?
Yeah, we were really happy to see each other.
You French?
Even the cat, we French kissed. Even the cat,
Cool.
I French kissed a little bit.
Sick.
She cooked some dinner when I got home. It was nice.
That's
It
nice.
was good. Yeah, it's nice to be back. I
I
want to go outside, but
yeah. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I think I can go to the park and stuff like that. I just can't. I don't feel like I should be going to restaurants or hanging with people yet.
Oh yeah. In this entire quarantine, we probably ordered delivery like 5 or 6 times, and this week was like 4 of those times.
Oh wow.
I mean, we occasionally had like delivery of like groceries that I'm not counting. I mean, like ordering food in.
Otherwise,
which is
mostly
like
just DiGiorno, right?
Almost always DiGiorno.
Yeah.
Never delivery.
Right.
I was just saying that to somebody, how anything can be, it's not delivery. It's blank.
Right.
As long as it's not delivery.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was I talking to about that?
It wasn't me. Was it Jody?
I don't know I forget who it was.
Was it your brother?
No, maybe Ian Fidance.
Your brother put out a book.
Yeah, you gonna read it?
I would like to read it. Yes.
I'll let you borrow my copy if you don't want to buy it. Cheap fuck.
Okay.
Don't want to support Colin Jost.
You're offering, sure.
I need it back though because it's signed to me.
Okay.
It can't be like my Wu-Tang manual like
you
you
want me
stole.
to sign it? I gave that back, didn't I?
I don't know.
Do you want me to sign under his name so that everyone that reads it signs something?
Yes. Do you have my Wu-Tang manual?
No.
You're looking at your books?
I'm pretty sure I bought my own copy.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened to mine. I want to reread it though. We'll trade.
Trade what? I don't have it.
You don't have a
anymore.
copy?
Yeah, I don't know where it went. I probably let you
Trade.
borrow it.
We'll trade. You'll buy it.
Okay.
Buy the Wu-Tang manual and you could have Colin's book. That's a promise I can make to anybody. Support Wu-Tang and you support Colin Jost. The book is great. He was just on WTF and a few other.
I actually was listening to that. It was a good episode on the plane.
Yeah, it's cool. It was cool to hear him talk about certain things. It's so funny, this whole book. Like, it gives me a whole new perspective into my brother.
Which you know him, but you didn't know like his inner thoughts.
I guess not.
What's the difference?
There's just chapters of his life that I wasn't around for, or I wasn't in his head for, or he was pretty quiet about. In general, sometimes like he could be really quiet around family and like close friends. He's just like a thoughtful person who's like kind of in his own zone sometimes. Like the closer you are, kind of the more of a wall he might put up, not intentionally, but just like I've like sat. We went to Puerto Rico to go surf, and then like there were like huge like 2 to 3 hour stretches where like we just didn't speak because he was just like either working on something or, you know what I mean, just in his head or reading. He likes to take time to like just read and like, think about other things.
Yeah.
He's just like that kind of person, and it's great. It's just the opposite of me. I'm like down to have fun constantly. Let's just talk about everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but yeah, I think there's definitely elements that we both have. And Colin, like with new people, is this the way I'm describing, like where he's just like, more talkative and like he's a great listener and a great conversationalist.
Mm-hmm.
So but the Mark Maron thing was cool, especially when he was talking about religion and about the elements of it where
Yeah,
You could,
self-reflection and all that.
yeah, the self reflect. Like if you feel like something, like you may have your own moral compass and you trust that, then it could kind of like reverse a sin or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be used by a psycho killer though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about morals.
That's the thing about
That's the
morals.
thing about them.
Yeah, but it's cool. Yeah, we should have him. We should try to get him on the pod.
Yeah, I think
I'll reach out to his
he
reps.
He could promote the book on here.
I'll talk to my dad and see if he could get Colin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I would love that. I spent me and Paul watched like a lot of movies together because we were just hanging out at home. It was nice.
Yeah, I was talking to me, Mark, and Pat did a Zoom the other day, or like a FaceTime hangout, and we were talking about what your experience must be like with this man, and we were like, he's probably like. Paul probably loves him. Paul's probably like, you know this movie? And Joe's like, yes, and can name like 4 actors in it.
Well, he outclassed me with all that because all kinds of like, like obscure cinema because he's like seen every movie. So he's always looking for more obscure shit,
Really?
He got into Bollywood recently. Like, so we watched some Bollywood stuff. And
how is?
That was fun. He got really bored of the first movie. It's got that, it's a pretty well-known song. It was used in the movie Ghost World. And I think the clip is viewed online a lot, the opening dance number, because it's really fun and really crazy. But that movie itself is like, it's kind of boring, But we were laughing at how boring it was. Like, that's the thing. You got a sense of humor about it. And we tried to watch a couple of other movies, and he was just talking shit about them, like the Jesus Rolls. He was like, what is this shit? Like,
yeah.
And
are there like actors that he loves?
Well, Willem Dafoe, I think he just loves, and like Nicolas Cage.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
He loves Nicolas Cage.
They've worked together on a few films, yeah.
I mean, I buy it. He's intense in movies. He like gives it his all. Sometimes maybe too much, or maybe it's just not edited right.
It was cool to talk. So he did this movie called Dog Eat Dog, which came out in 2016. And I remember watching it at the time, and I didn't track that it was by Paul Schrader when I saw it,
Mm-hmm.
Paul Schrader, whenever his name came up, whenever I'd watch a movie, I'd be like, oh, this is that guy. I want to check this out, I never knew I'd be working with him. But Dog Eat Dog is a really weird movie. I liked it, but it's not for everybody. It's just weird. It's a weird like heist movie. And Nicolas Cage kept doing this like Humphrey Bogart like accent throughout the movie. And he was like, well, my character's just obsessed with Humphrey Bogart, you see?
Really?
And like Paul was like, all right. And he was like taking different takes of it and like figured he'd cut it out. But then there's this final scene where like Nicolas Cage's character may be dead or maybe not. Paul's very into like the ambiguity of a movie. Like he likes to leave things open to their interpretation. And Nicolas Cage did the Humphrey Bogart accent the entire way through the ending of the movie. Like he did not do it. And Paul was like, all right, Nick, so let's talk about this accent. I'm not really sure about it. And Nick was like, well, you told me that this character may be dead in this scene. And if that's true, isn't it his greatest fantasy to be Humphrey Bogart? If he's in heaven right now, he is Humphrey Bogart. And Paul was like, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that logic. All right, keep it in, whatever. That makes sense to me. And like he kept it in. And it's this bonkers character,
What do you think?
I think that's great.
But without knowing that, just watching the movie.
I thought it was interesting, Like I remember being like, I've never seen anything like that, and I appreciated that. He does like he there was one point when we were debating whether or not Oscar would have blood on his shirt when he goes to bed in the prison, in the jail. And Oscar's like, I don't know. You think I'd like take it off? And Paul's like, it's a movie. And it was great. It's like, yeah, you're right. It's just a movie. Let's have fun with it,
Wait,
like so that approach to it. He left the shirt on with blood.
With blood.
Yeah, with blood, because Paul was basically like, it's a movie. It doesn't have to be completely real. It's a movie. That's what movies are. And like, I don't know, it's a very cool way to look at it, Just to embrace exactly what this is that we're doing.
Did you ever say anything like, Paul, people don't eat enough in movies?
No.
Have you noticed how people don't really eat a lot in movies?
I don't think so, no. But he was
Paul,
talking to me.
let me ask you something about this character. When did he sleep last?
when
When
we
was
were
the last time
talking
he
about
slept?
when we were talking about his next movie, he was asking me which ending I preferred because he gave me
That's
two
fun.
options. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I don't know. I don't feel like the character earned this one ending. Like, I don't think she would do that. And he was like,
Mm.
well, I would just have to write that in. But I don't. But I was like, I don't really like that. I don't buy that anyway. That's too commercial, that ending. But he's like, but do I want it to be commercial? Do I want it to be kind of a commercial thing?
Mm.
I don't know. It was just cool talking to him about movies.
I would have been like, you know, it'd be a cool ending. So this girl goes on a date with this boy, and they go to like a museum, and then the next night a fancy restaurant, then the next night a whole nice day with like the family, and
Yeah,
then he proposes to her by kicking open the door, wearing a green face paint and a
that
yellow
would have been
suit.
good. I wish I pitched that. There were a couple of things I wanted to tell him, this like really bad like Shaggy Dog joke, but I just didn't really build up the courage to do it,
Good
and
call.
I didn't. Yeah.
I think
Well,
I would
I kind of
say good
figured.
call.
I kind of figured. I initially was like, well, we're gonna have 20 hours to drive home. I can do it then. Like, what's the big deal? But that didn't end up happening.
Funny. What if
Uh,
he hates you and is lying?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing, Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't imagine that like
I doubt it.
we're gonna be chatting or anything like that. I don't think he hates me. I think he likes me. I mean, he was laughing at my jokes and we were getting along well. I think he
Yeah,
appreciated my questions and talking about cinema with him.
it's and this is a microcosm of it, but like there have been times where I've been on set for things and worked with someone intimately, and then like I saw them afterwards and it was just like, oh yeah, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
And it's
That's
like
exactly it.
and I spend hours and hours and hours with them, or even like over the course of days. And like I may not even remember them, but like during that time it was really great. And then like it just takes something to jog your memory. But people's like hair changes or something and you're like, I don't know who this person is.
I know. And like he's not very sentimental. People are like expressing in different ways like how much it all meant to them.
Yeah.
And I don't think he didn't really like seem to care that much about it.
Yeah.
Like everyone's kind of a day player to him. He's just seen so many people and all the movies.
Of course, so many different crews. Yeah.
I mean, his approach is he likes to hire new people because he can offer them a new job title instead of like more money. So they get paid like scale. They get paid like a lower amount, but all of a sudden they'll be like the production designer instead of just props person. So for them, they can now go on to another movie having had that credit. So like he offered, that's his approach in a lot of ways to keep his budget down. So there are always like new people coming in, and he likes that because they'll just do what he says.
Let me ask you this: what was the connection with Jake, our friend Jake Van Wagner?
One of the producers on the movie has worked with Jake before. He's from Utah and has done. Okay. He did like Little Women. He was one of the producers on that.
Oh, cool.
And the Little Women, the one that McLean did.
Yeah, our friend McLean Nelson. Yeah,
and just like that whole crew. So I guess he hired Jake to be the line producer of this movie, and then Jake was kind of involved there, and like there were a bunch of people from Utah that came in through that.
Yeah, I saw my friend Kathy. It was hair and makeup. That's cool.
And do you know John Foss?
Nah.
He was one of the creators
maybe
of Show Us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
maybe if I saw him,
I don't know if he. Yeah, so he was on. He worked on.
Hey, this is what I'm talking about. What's his name? John Foss.
Foss. Yeah.
Let's see. He's in a thing called Famous Mormons. Yeah, I know John. Yeah. Nice guy.
Yeah, he worked on it too. We got along really well.
Yeah,
so yeah, it was just one of those things, and I think they were all very happy. I was the right guy to bring in for the job, for what it was, for how long it was. I would not have done it for longer than 2 weeks. I don't think I would do it again if I only did it because it was Paul Schrader. I didn't love being an assistant. It just felt it's not where I personally want to be in my life, but I think it was a good experience to kind of like I'm not gonna lie, I was like humbling myself a lot to be in that level,
Yeah. No, yeah. I think
I don't mean to disparage the job. It's a good job. It's just not where I want to be right now.
That makes complete sense. I think that's everybody has their own barometer, and it's not a judgment based on anything. It's just, you know what I mean, from where you're coming from. It would look like a step down, but like you're big enough to put your ego to the side to learn. It's like going back to school.
No, almost nobody knew Impractical Jokers or or cared about TV. So it was funny.
Yeah,
like
that's
they
great.
really did. They really did see like even though like I've been working on that show for 7 years. They didn't see that as anything. It was funny.
Yeah.
Movies are a
Yeah.
whole different world.
I completely believe that.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So also I mentioned that me, Mark, and Pat were on a FaceTime.
Yeah.
And something came up that I've never noticed that Mark, I guess, has. Have you talked to him about this?
What is
About
it?
this?
Yeah, he brings it up all the time.
I never even noticed that I never clocked it.
I don't want to say he's obsessed with it, but he talks about it all the time every time I do it.
So Joe does a thing where he just did it. He brushes his knuckles against his nose, but like pinky first, and blows air out as he does it. Like,
I don't actually blow air out. It just makes a noise like I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can blow air out and it becomes louder.
Okay. I think you do blow out. I mean, once he did that, I was like, oh my God. And like almost every time you've ever done it in my presence, I was like, he does this thing. But how funny is it that I've never really noticed that you did that? Or, and I look at you, I've looked at you more than I've looked at anyone else on the planet, probably, except for Lisa, maybe.
It's not like a tick. It's more like when my nose is itchy, I don't want to go like this or like pick it or something. So if I do that, it kind of like, it's a quick way to like scratch the itch. It's a cool way.
It's cool.
I don't know if it's cool, but it's just in my mind, and I guess I'm way off on this, but in my mind, it's way less conspicuous than like going like this, and it's probably not at all. But I never thought anything of it,
I have little things like where I tweak my glasses or rub my nose. That is just, it's not so much like my nose is itchy. It's just a fidget, a habit that I do. Like I used to do it a lot where I used to go like this.
I'm just thinking just thinking about how crazy it is from Mark's perspective. Like he's right. That's a crazy thing to do.
Yeah. Mark is sharp about things like that.
Yeah.
He's so analytical and like observant.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Do you self-conscious about it though when he brings it up?
No. Because again, I don't think anything of it. It's kind of like, it's one of those things.
Yeah, we all have them.
Yeah.
Ours are just cooler.
Sure.
I sometimes accidentally break dance.
What's your glasses one?
I have this. I do this sometimes, like if I have glasses on or this.
It seems like you're readjusting them.
Yeah. But it's more so like it's just a habit that I do. I mean, like when I used to wear glasses all the time, like I didn't have contacts up until like I was 21 when I got contacts. But I used to do it a lot more because I'd always wear glasses. And then once I started wearing contacts more, I was just doing it less. But I used to phantom do it. Like I used to be like, oh, I'm not wearing glasses right now, and touch my head like as if I had glasses. But I remember in school, Chris Cianci did like a mark. Chris Cianci, who was like my best friend, and we went to high school together and never talked. Like we were just in different classes and we just fell out of touch. But he was like my Joe Ambrosio, and that like we just did everything together. It was just like fun and stuff. But yeah, I miss him. I haven't talked to him. I'd love to reconnect. My
version of Joe Ambrosio.
Yeah. I guess it was you and Pat would be the thing of you guys growing up.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But imagine if you and Pat went to Farrell, but just never talked.
Yeah. Me and Pat really didn't have a lot of classes together. So whenever he did, I was so excited about it.
You had some though?
Like I think one or two. We had a homeroom and a religion class together.
Homeroom's huge though.
Yeah. I have such a fond nostalgia for homeroom. It was such a like, it's just nothing like rolling into homeroom and like sitting down and bullshitting with your friends and like trying to get some homework done real quick. I love that stuff. Did you care about like finishing your homework in the morning?
Yeah. I mean, of course, like if I was going to do it.
That's what my question is.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Yeah. I mean, let me try to think. There were definitely times that it was usually homeroom. I was probably more concerned, like if there was a test and I had not studied at all, that I would try to read material so that I would at least get a few questions right.
Yeah.
Or I would, but it's so hard for me not to socialize. So even if I had those things to do, I'd probably procrastinate even more and be like, oh, I could do it during lunch, or oh, when is that period? I could do it at this class, Spanish class, because we're not going to be doing much today. So I would push things off.
Yeah.
But I lost my homeroom really in my junior and senior year because I was doing WFBN, which was the TV studio. So almost every day I would go to the studio to prepare for the show that we were doing either once or twice a week.
I can't believe that. And what are the odds that you and Mark were both the anchors of our in-school private TV show that we had every morning it was called, well, WFBN was the name of the quote unquote network, but that was great.
What was it called? Wasn't it called WFPN?
What was it? What was it? What was the name of the show?
FBN?
I guess.
I think it was just like either WFBN or FBN.
Yeah, but
Arrow Broadcasting News.
That was the name of. Yeah, I guess that was.
I think it would just be like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, welcome to FBN. I don't know. And it would be like, today's specials pizza.
What was the writing process like for that show?
It would always be the same stuff of like, this is so funny. It would always be the same of like what day of the day of the week. We would do a 6-day schedule.
It's a B schedule, yeah. Today.
Yeah, it would be today's a B day, and it's Tuesday, so there's pizza squares.
Yeah.
Or like chicken pot pie.
Yeah.
And then it would be like and then I would love days where I didn't have to talk about anything, but sometimes we'd have to hit the Easter Ireland and London trip.
So, but that's it. It was just promotions. There was no like writing process.
It would mostly be promotions, maybe some like upcoming news or events. It would be like, we have a football game on Friday. You know what I mean? Like
you never
tickets are selling out.
You never wanted to do sketches and stuff?
Pat Smith, was that his name?
Yeah.
He would always do those like Star Wars parodies.
Yeah.
And it would be like a parody of Star Wars where they would have like lightsabers.
Mr. Musanti was like Darth Maul or something.
Yeah, but then there was also that football coach who would literally just go football.
Yeah, that was so funny. Come on, that was funny.
I forgot what his name is.
Coach
Garofalo. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so I was never him and that guy Steve Ganoza, they would always do those together. And so my favorite thing was we went to the city and I was just interviewing people on the street.
Right.
And improvising. And that it was the best. People loved it. They were just, following me. I was talking to other students. I was talking to people. I was talking to like just like other like, there were just like young girls that were like there. I was just like talking to them and like people loved it.
Yeah, I know, man.
It ends with me running at a bunch of pigeons and then they slowed it down so the pigeons fly in slow motion.
That's funny.
And I'm like running at them. Yeah, it was. So that was a moment where I was like, oh, this is the kind of thing I want to do. But I couldn't really do that much. There'd also be interviews. Sometimes somebody would come on, like an old anchor, another student that was promoting something, like had just graduated, or a teacher that was like going to talk. And I would like those because I'd mess around. But they would also, it was like right after 9/11 or like, the year after 9/11. So they would have just like, interviews about the Iraq war with that teacher that like that was like in Desert Storm. Yeah. So I would be like, I don't want to do those. And so Pat Smith would do those too.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember Mark Maffei was your successor, so he became the anchor my senior year after you left, and you guys did like a passing of the torch thing with Love Will Keep Us Together. You remember that?
I think so. Yeah,
something like that. I don't know. I remember like, just like you guys trying to like do a sketch, and like I wish that I had been more involved. It seems like a lot of fun in retrospect.
No, it was not. It was. I mean,
no?
it's funny in retrospect.
For you, it's not, but like if I could have been like, hey, I have this idea for a sketch. Can we put something together, Brother Hand? I'm sure he would have been okay with it.
No, he was kind of tough about those things. You had to just do it. Yes, for sure. I remember pitching him things, trying to get songs to be played in the morning. That was the whole thing too. And I would always like really try to push. There were times I got Mark's songs, like Fruity Loops, on it. So, but he would always be like stand in the way. So if I wanted to do something, he'd be like, okay, like, let's talk about it. Like we need to bring it up at the meeting. And then, but like, I think Pat Smith and Steve Ganoza had been there so long that they would just be able to be like, we're filming this thing. And
I don't know. I just think that like, it's his job as an educator to encourage creativity, I would think. So if I were to come as an outsider and be like, I have this idea, if I filmed myself or something, would you air it? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the thing at the time though was like, you'd need to know how to use a camera.
Now,
Like you needed a person to edit it.
well,
So like
nowadays, any student could do that. Back then,
exactly.
you couldn't. I don't wonder. I definitely do have a memory of FBN feeling like extremely closed off from me. Like I couldn't get in there. It was like a club that I wasn't a part of. You know?
Yeah, that's the other thing. He would be weird about that too. The only reason why I think I got in was junior year during the strike. Garrett Vogel, our good friend, and Greg Benedetto were the co-anchors.
Right. That's so funny.
And they were like, this guy Casey's like really funny. He does like improv shows and he does the plays. And so they would have me come on, and that was my funnier year. Like I got to just be a side
no
character.
Responsibilities, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was just doing bits on the show, like little characters. And then when I was the anchor, I was like, I have to be this like anchor guy.
I know.
And
It's
then
like a
my
serious
co-anchor, I really didn't like vibe with really. It was
right.
Lou Armando,
Yeah,
which
you
is
guys
like
are very different.
yeah. And so I didn't understand how he got in at the, like so it was kind of like I don't know what. And he was always resistant to things, and he almost played it up almost like he was over the show every day. Like he was like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, chicken pot pie today. You know what it is. So it was like, it's not the best partner to work with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, man.
And anything that was funny, he'd be like, that's weird. He'd like undercut your bits.
It's tricky. I know. It's like you need to foster a certain spirit of creativity in the kids. And
He was not the best. Yeah, Brother Hannum was not the. I mean, he cared so much more about the technology.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
He was like, and look, what he did was amazing. I'm not trying to like talk shit about it, but I just remember the process being like a little frustrating because like I was a fan of like Mr. Show with Bob and David, and that was not going to fly
I know.
on WFBN. But that was what I was most influenced by, like that or like, Kids in the Hall, SNL, that kind of stuff. And I was just like, there was no way any of that material was going to get on unless it was like just improvised. Or I remember like maybe sometimes interviewing a teacher and being able to like be like weird or flirty, and it would be fine, but kids liked it.
You had to sneak things in, basically.
Yes.
Which
and
is
like
that's a lesson unto its own about life, which is fine as long as you could take a lesson out of it.
Yes.
I think.
No, yeah. I think after that process, I was like, okay, like I'm excited. Like, but no, what was weird was when I went to Rider University, which also our friend Garrett Vogel went to, and he went into the television program there. So he went from WFBN, knowing all that stuff, to Rider, where he did that communications. And I just was like, I don't want more of WFBN.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I did that, but it's not really what I wanted. And I took communications classes, and I was like, this sucks. This is so boring. You're taking a creative thing and making it like math.
Yeah.
And I hated that. So I stopped doing that. And I did fine arts. And like, I was kind of like, I could still do that stuff if I really want to, but I just never wanted to until my senior year when I did a sketch show. So, and then it went on the air. So it was kind of that, it was an interesting process. But
is that called Saturday Night Live or something?
Ryder had a show called Ryder Saturday Night Live or something, but it was not on a Saturday. But it was just to get people to understand that it's a sketch show.
Yeah, that's funny. And you saw, like, so Mr. Show was your like inspiration. I think from Brother Hannon, it was like Regis and Kathy Lee in the morning. That's an inspiration. That's what he wanted the show to feel like.
Yes, and
Regis.
And so like he would always be like, we're building a new wing, and you're like, okay, well, like we don't do anything yet. Like we haven't had like real creative meetings about what's going to happen. Like, and you'd just be obsessed with like new technology and new things and like getting more money to that studio to make things, which it's a state of the art. Like nobody else on the island still has a studio that good. And he's had it now for like, when, even I think 5 years before I graduated, like I think like 2099 was like when he started like really doing like John Lavelle's year.
It's an insanely valuable resource to have at a high school, and we were very lucky to have it. And that's why I'm like, anything I did on it, I had a lot of fun with because I was always a side character. So like when I was involved, they were always very fun for me, and like I did fall in love with that stuff. And it gave me a foundation of like trying to do comedic things in that form. Whether I realized it or not, it at least planted the seed early.
Did you do the improv shows?
Yeah.
Every year? Like,
when they came in, when they became a thing. And it was like us. It was like...
that was better. That was that. See, that was the best because most of the time Monty ran it, except for my last year when that other guy did.
Yeah.
Gatto, what's his name?
Gaddy, Mr. Gaddy.
Gaddy, yeah, who was like who sucked. It was
Well, he
weirdo and
was
made
more
the
of a
energy
theater
weird.
guy. He was more of a theater guy. So like for him, improv wasn't
He
his.
also like wanted to host the show in a weird way. Like Monty would never do that. Monty would be like, "Okay, guys, go." You know what I mean? Like you guys are the stars. And
Yeah.
Gaddy would be like, "Hello, everyone." He'd wear a weird outfit. He'd be like,
You're right.
he'd be a creep. Like,
It's so wild, man. You're right. But the other cool thing about Monty is like when we would do a performance, when we would do like How to Succeed in Business, he was totally cool with us adding a scene in just to like an improv
100%.
scene with like Mark and Pat as like the janitors. Like he loved that stuff.
Monty, if you said to him like, "Hey, can we make this song like reggae?" or you know what I mean? Like he'd be like, "Yeah, okay." Like he was so down for any. He was so nice
I know.
and like encouraging of what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he, and it would be. He was just. I was thinking recently like how impactful he was on us in terms of like those forensics things. Mr. Monteleone was like a teacher who worked at the school who also like was a musical director, but also did like
He's a physics teacher.
Ran the speech and debate stuff, which was just, really no debate. It was just like acting in like those tournaments.
He used to encourage me to write my own. You could do original oratory, and it's where you write your own and perform it. And he used to always encourage me to do it, and I wish I took him up on that. I think I was just too scared to do it because I was already scared to perform in general. I couldn't fathom trying to write my own thing. But
my brother was really good at OO, so he was kind of like, "Do you want to do that?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah, I know. But it's like,
which was cool that he didn't push me too much,
It's just the sort of thing that I think would have got me a head start in where I ended up anyway. So it would have been nice to have that foundation a little more early.
Yeah, Colin has a whole chapter on it that I think you're gonna like.
Well, the WTF, he talked about it a little bit, so you got to think about that.
And the Wu-Tang manual, I think he talks even more. The other thing is Doc. So all right. So for the people at home, we've been talking about there's Mr. Gaddy, who was a teacher that was like banned from the school, but then came back because I think he had an affair with a student's mom.
I don't understand how, like, why would that information ever trickle down to us students? That's crazy to me.
I mean, all that stuff always would come out. So he was not allowed back at the school. And then the principals changed, and I guess maybe that was like, okay, I'm back. So he came back my senior year when there was a new principal. He was a creep. He was weird. Apparently, like he would have like, remember like a couple of years later, he had like a cast party where he like had alcohol for kids.
Yeah, for razzle dazzle.
Anyway, he was so he was weird. But he did some of the plays and stuff when he came back. But my freshman and maybe sophomore year and yours, we had this guy, Doc Caltabiano, who had been directing the plays for a while, who had grown up in New York City, grew up in Staten Island. He moved to California to do movies for a few years and came back as a full-blown cowboy.
Yeah, and he called himself Doc, like Doc Holliday, and it was this whole thing.
Did he have a PhD?
No, I think it was literally a reference to Doc Holliday, just like the character.
I think he grew up in New York, moved there, had a mental breakdown, became a cowboy in California somehow. Like maybe he believed he was like a part. And then came back because he was like probably like at his like wit's end, and just kept with this character.
Didn't he say Mark was like chicken shit or something? Chicken. What did he say to Mark? Chicken. It was chicken.
You're chicken shit.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he would also say, he'd be like, "Don't piss on my boots and tell me it's raining." He talked to like a full-blown cowboy. He would wear cowboy boots with
an interesting guy, man.
He used to like on dress down day. Most days he'd look like a cowboy. And then on dress down day, he would wear like a fleece, like a Farrell fleece tucked into jeans with boots. Like it was insane. Like the man was insane, but he was the director of the shows.
I remember line dancing with him at one of the dinners for the Farrell players or whatever.
Yeah.
We all line danced.
That's right. There's a photo of it. Yeah. Also, I remember. So I was in a speech class. He'd also taught speech at Farrell. Why that's a class, I don't know, but it was like an English class, and you'd write speeches and perform them. And I remember kids writing speeches. That's like I would go up there and be like, break it up, roll it, light it, smoke it. and then he'd be like, very good, Mr. Brancato, or whatever it was. It would be full blown. Like, he wouldn't care what the content was if you delivered it right. You know what I mean?
Funny.
So kids would be like, I spread her legs. Like, it would be like,
Oh my God, I never knew
people
about
would be
this.
insane shit as long as it, you know what I mean? And then some kid would be like, you know, what, like growing up, I wanted to be an astronaut. And he'd be like, you know, stop reading the paper. He'd get like mad at the wrong things. He'd get mad. Like, you're like, eyes up, you know, could make a connection.
Wow, that's terrifying. If a kid's got stage fright and that's how you're teaching them, what a fucking maniac.
He was a maniac. It was just this, imagine like, you know, being nervous and then the cowboy screaming at you. And then like other kids are talking about like smoking weed as their thing.
That is wild, dude.
The other thing was that Mr. Leone, who was an English teacher, a kid wrote a thing about how in like a final paper, how you can smoke heroin, how you can, it's not just like you not only can you inject it, you can smoke heroin, and wrote how, like he knew how, like he didn't say he did it, but he explained how you could smoke heroin, and he got an A on the paper because Mr. Leone was like, I found it fascinating. It was really good writing.
That's so interesting.
Isn't that insane?
Wow. I don't think
forget. I think he was like a decently good student. It was like a Justin Renan type, like somebody who like Justin was smart and did well, but he was just like a cool kid that also like went to clubs and smoked weed and, you know.
Yeah, I think we got lucky in our time at Farrell. I think we got away with a hell of a lot. And
yeah.
I mean, not to say, I don't know if the point of getting away with things, if high school's like, the point of high school is not to get away with things, but it certainly is fun.
Yes.
And I'm glad we did.
Yeah. Me too.
I mean, for me at least, I think that my father kind of like planted that seed in a way, because he would tell me about like the mischief he got into as a kid. And I was like, but but I also like greatly respected him, and he's a very intelligent man. So I saw that you could be both. You know what I mean? A good student and also like a ball buster, whatever.
All I wanted to do was like make my friends laugh in school, like because I loved that so much in elementary school.
Yeah, man.
And so I remember like my first week or so at Farrell being so nervous and being so intimidated and not wanting to make the same kinds of jokes. Or if I remember sometimes like bombing, saying something that would have killed, and people being like, that's fucking corny.
Yeah, I know.
So you had to like be edgier.
It's a tough crowd. It's a tough crowd.
You know what I mean? Like a joke at Farrell would be saying like, being like, fuck. You know what I mean? Just like, like, you know, it's almost like dumber. Like, you know what I mean? And like if you're trying, you're failing.
Oh, but there's no better feeling.
Yeah.
Than like just yelling something out in class that isn't just fuck. That's like smart and funny, and having everyone laugh, and you don't even get in trouble because it was that funny. That is the beauty of, that's the perfect high school moment. It's the kind of thing that I would like sit in all day and like just bask in.
Yeah. That's so funny. Mrs. Welsh, who's like a teacher we had, like stays in touch, and she's always like, my mom always tells me this story too, that she used to, like at the parent teacher conference, would be like, all the teachers would be like, Casey's like not doing his work, he's going to fail this class. And he'd get to her and she'd be like, oh, Casey is a delight. He's funny. He makes the whole class laugh. He makes me laugh. And then they're like, yeah. Oh, really? Okay. And his grades are good. And she's like, oh, no. But he doesn't need grades. It's like,
that's just being like honest, you know, that's,
you know, this is a video, right? You know, hold on, Joe. You know, we're releasing this as a video, right?
Yeah. What am I doing wrong?
You're spread eag.
I'm wearing pants.
You're so defiant. You can't do, Joe, you can't. All right, we're ending a podcast. That's it. All right. We're ending it.
Bye.
How dare you? Okay, I love you. Bye.
Love you too.